Hey Gary, I think we should focus on what Nick, the modern mystic, was saying that we don't need to adopt Buddhism as the solution to suffering. Um, we only need to look to a few of the methods that Buddhism has used in order to accomplish that same goal. And we don't have to call this method Buddhism. We don't have to call it anything. We can call it using our intellect to think about the problem of suffering if we want. Um, the only thing is, this this method that we're going to try to adopt from Buddhism isn't about thinking. It's about meditating, and meditating is more than just trying to translate a bad way of looking at things and experience into a good way of looking at it. It's not about trying to get rid of our emotions or gain control over them. It's more about seeing into the nature of reality itself, not so that we can intellectually describe it and break it down into its component parts as though it were some mechanism that we could understand from without. Rather, it's to learn how to flow with nature, um, which I know you're gonna hate that way of looking at it, but the idea is not that we shouldn't be attached to things, and that therefore meditation is about learning to be unattached. It's about seeing that there is nothing to be attached to. There are no things that exist in and of themselves. There are no states of mind that are permanent. There are no objects that are permanent. Everything is passing away, arising and passing away, arising and passing away. You cannot clutch after anything. You cannot have or own anything. And meditation is a way of getting into touch with this fact of our first-hand personal experience before any kind of intellectual abstractions or mediations get in the way. Meditation is trying to return us to where we are, where we always have been, where we always will be, so that we come to see that attachment is impossible. Not that attachment is bad or wrong, or causes suffering, although, if you look at the Four Noble Truths, it seems, well, first, life is suffering, second, suffering is caused by attachment. So it makes it seem like attachment were actually possible because people are suffering, so they must be uh, trying to become attached to something. But that's the thing. Attachment is impossible. You can only ever try. You can only grab and keep grabbing and realize that the sand is just falling through your fingers. And so meditation is meant to bring your attention to this fact that you cannot grab. You are falling, and you cannot prevent yourself from falling. There's nothing to pull you back up again. There's no ground for you to rest on, nowhere to gain your balance. Therefore, there is no need for balance. That's the key. That's the transformation. Um, And so, we could go on arguing endlessly about the intellectual ramifications of adopting this Buddhist system, but the Buddhist system itself is not even a system. It's not a metaphysical, speculative philosophy. It's a first-hand, experientially based method or practice or prescription for curing an illness. The illness being this illusion of there being something permanent, either out there in the world for us to collect and own, or in our mind for us to identify with. Um, that's what Buddhism, at its essence, is concerned with. And sure, there are these other metaphysical things that we can get rid of that have attached themselves to the Buddhist tradition over the years, reincarnation and karma and chanting, and you have to chant the specific words in order to get to nirvana. That stuff can be left in China and India and Japan. We don't need that. That's not what the modern mystic is suggesting that we pay attention to and even consider adopting as a practice in our Western enlightened industrialized lives. So I'll leave it at that, and let me know what you think, Gary, and anybody else, because we're not saying that we should all become Buddhist, or Nick's not saying that, and I certainly wouldn't say that either. Um, we're saying that there is this practice in Buddhism that's been refined for thousands of years called meditation that alters the way the brain works. We've done, EEG measurements and fMRI measurements, and proficient meditators who have been practicing for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, significantly alter the way their brain functions. They become more compassionate, less attached to their egoic identities, and all around more jolly, happy, freewheeling people. And that, I think, is what we all would like to become and like to see others become. So let me know what you think. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for listening.